the super mad Spartan, but he's been really chill, this the spring so far. Got nothing to be mad about.
So far.
Maybe with all of the transfers going on and the football team right now. But besides that, we have the honor, we have the pleasure having my boy, Mr. Kevin Shaw, the super duper Spartan documentary filmmaker / producer in the building. He's gotten so many awards, so many just recognition. I mean, I've been trying to hunt this man down for a long time to get him on the show. Finally got him here. Mr. Shaw and I, we go way back, 30 plus years, back in the day in the 90s.
Yes, let the audience know, It goes back to Holden Hall.
Yes, sir. Holden Hall.
We were classmates. We were suite mates at Michigan State. So, yeah, it's been a while, man. It's been a while.
Yes, but it's a pleasure to have you on the show, sir. You are our first non-athlete here on the show, but, from the days I knew you back on the, from your days at the State News and all the sports stuff you did on campus and everything, I figured you would be an excellent guest here, expanding our classic Spartan series. So what's going on, sir? How you doing?
Man. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm having a great time, just kind of relaxing and chilling during this off season for the Spartan sports, as you know.
Yes.
And having good thoughts, hopefully, about the football team as this, as we approach the upcoming season and all that. And that's all I can do. We all have hope right now, right?
Yes, we all have hope.
It's the only thing we have.
And that's to give our audience a little bit of a background. I mean, Kevin has done a whole lot of stuff, man. I mean, I'm just talking to sports. He did the Divided We Stand episode, for the Fox / the Big Ten Network. He did a lot of stuff behind the scenes. Shaq and Dale for ESPN, ACC, The Little Light That Shines, a non-sports project, but nevertheless a very excellent film on PBS. I mean, I could just go on and on and on. I saw Kev, in Jet Magazine, when Jet Magazine used to be a thing back in the day. I mean, he's just everywhere.
Page 43?
Tripping,
44,
man.
Brian plays 44.
44. They might have changed. Go back in the archives.
Crazy.
But so, Mr. Shaw, my first question is, why did you choose Michigan State, coming from Chicago, Illinois, the Chi? What made you choose Michigan State?
Man, I have to think about this. I was thinking about this today, and really one of my very first entries into Michigan State came through sports and watching a football game. And I watched a football game. So this is back in 1990. Michigan State was playing Notre Dame on ABC college football with Keith Jackson. All right, and that's how far back we go. And I just remember looking at the campus, when they had shots of the campus in between, the football game and all that. And it was like, man, that's like what I believe a college campus should look like. It was green. They had the Beaumont Tower. It just looked like this awesome little place. And later that year, fast forward, 1990. Michigan State plays Michigan in the very famous Desmond Howard trip game.
Oh, yes.
And Michigan State won that game, Michigan happened to be number one at the time, so we beat the number one team. And so there was something about this idea of this kind of underdog school here, getting one over the rival, that really, really intrigued me, And I knew that they had a great journalism and telecommunications program. And so that was something that really, fascinated me about it. Now, the flip side is that, being in Chicago, you have a lot of Big Ten sports. You're watching Big Ten sports all the time when you're growing up. I watched a lot of Michigan too, so I was kind of a Michigan fan, I guess, as well, also, because I watched a lot of them. And by the time the college choices came, I ended up applying to both schools. I applied to both Michigan and Michigan State. I was fortunate and blessed enough to get into both. So I had the opportunity to go to Michigan, but I chose to go to Michigan State. I chose the green and white. I chose
Excellent
the green
choice.
and white. I think, again, for me, when I was able to visit both campuses, it was about, this feels like a place where I feel like I belong, and so that's kind of how I ended up going to Michigan State, and what a great choice it was.
Okay. So while you were there,
Oh
Ken told
man,
me that
that's
you were in
cool,
the
man.
state news. How did you know working for the state news?
Yeah, man. So, I was a journalism major. I wanted to study journalism, newspaper, television, that kind of thing. My father was in television, so I was kind of, walking in his footsteps, per se. And the thing that he always told me is that, hey, well, if you want to get into TV, you should learn how to write. You need to be able to write and tell a story. And so that kind of led my whole journalism path. So, when I was at Michigan State, it kind of made sense to try to get involved with writing, try to get involved with the newspaper there. So, I think it was my freshman year, after maybe the first semester or so of kind of settling in. That next semester, I went ahead and just had a job interview, and applied for a position there at the State News. And I just remember, having one of my very first job interviews. You're 18, 19, whatever it might be. And I'm sitting in front of my peers there. And it wasn't just one person that was interviewing me. It was like the whole editorial staff. So it was like 7 or 8
wow.
people, and so they're
Wow.
all just peppering me with stuff, bam, bam, bam. I guess I made a good enough impression. So I was able to land the job there. And yeah, I ended up working at the State News for about 3.5 years. I became a sports editor during that time frame. I did a little bit of news as well, and it was just an awesome experience. I think in covering sports. Obviously, I covered all the teams, covered football, basketball. So football, we didn't have too many heroes during that time frame. I was like the George Perlis era. The end of the George Perlis era was this time frame that we're talking about. Basketball, we had Judd Heathcote, who ended up retiring like the last year of my time there at Michigan State in 1995-ish. You got Sean Respert and Eric Snow. I'm going deep here, man. I'm going back into the days
Yes,
with
Fire and
you know,
Ice.
Fire and
Yeah,
Ice. That's right.
Fire and Ice. I
So that
remember
was
them.
yeah. So I
Yep,
got to cover
that was
them,
their
and man,
tagline.
that was it. That was it. And here's one thing. I don't know if y'all remember, but like Michigan State played a football game in Japan against Wisconsin, and
Really?
we were
I
not
remember
that
that.
good. Yeah, we were not that good, but Wisconsin was, and they had Barry Alvarez during that time frame. So it was a game that they needed to win to go to the Rose Bowl, and they beat us. But I got to go to Japan. Like the State News sent me and 2 photographers to go
Wow.
to Japan and cover this
That's
game.
dope,
Which
Kev.
was
I didn't know
which
that.
was
Wow.
man, which was
That was
amazing.
Awesome
awesome.
experience.
It was an incredible
Yeah.
experience. First time I had ever been out of the country, and then to be there and in that culture and be in Tokyo and all that stuff. It was just fascinating. So I had a great time there at the State News, and that really helped, propel my career.
And if I remember, did you work with Jamel Hill at the State News?
I did. So Jamel Hill, I was her sports editor, for a time
Okay.
frame there, and
Okay.
very much like how I just described the interview setting for me. It was the flip side. I did the same thing with Jamel, and so
Mm-hmm.
I remember Jamel sitting like in the doorway of the lobby there of the State News office, just waiting to be interviewed. You know what I mean? And so she came in, and we interviewed her, and she was awesome, and hired her as one of the sports writers. And yeah, she started off doing the non-revenue sports, and then moved up and did basketball and football, and yeah, I mean the rest is history with Jamel, right? She's moved on to have an incredible career, and I guess I can say, I knew her back then. You know what I mean?
I know. You know what's so cool, man, is especially with in our inner circle of college buddies, they're seeing like the origin stories, I guess, being in college,
Yeah.
going through that college grind and
Yes,
going
sir.
through the whole thing and just seeing where everyone is at now, man. That's great, man. That's great, great, great.
Yeah.
So while you're at the state news doing your thing, I'm here reading your articles and all this stuff here. And Brian, just to give you a little bit of context, one of Kevin's famous lines from one of his articles was the magic sprinkles.
Magic sprinkles.
Yeah, I
You
think
can't,
was that talking about
you can't
the
throw that out.
was that about the I think it was maybe about the basketball team. I can't remember, but it was such a cool. It was just like a
It was
cool
about the
thing.
football team. That
Football
was
team.
the
Okay,
Michigan,
okay.
Michigan State rivalry, and we actually won that game, and it was a miracle that we won. Like no one expected Michigan State to beat Michigan that particular year. So I wrote some little lead paragraph or about magical sprinkles, something something, miracle, and that's funny, man, because somebody actually just brought that up to me a couple months ago. I don't know if you remember Larry Lage, but he actually, and Chris Solari, some of these other guys
I
that I
remember
grew up
him.
with there
I
at the
remember
State
Larry. Yep.
News. They had,
Chris.
yeah, they actually still had that newspaper article, which is so funny. But yeah, man, we were able to cover those games, man, and then at night celebrate with everybody, right? Because I do remember that one year, everybody celebrated. Like we all went out partying and just was like, yeah, we beat Michigan, and we're
Yeah.
gonna go to the party and do what we do.
Yeah.
Just experience when I
You
was
know
there. I
what's
don't think
interesting
they
is
beat
that
Michigan during my time frame.
Oh, I'm sorry. we
As
only beat
after
them
I left,
once.
it's like,
We only beat them once in our 4 years, So, but that one year we beat them. I think that was '95 with I think Tony Banks was the quarterback. Maybe
Yep.
Milt Coleman might have still been there. I'm not sure, but I know Banks was
I think
the quarterback.
we beat him in '93 too, Kev. I think we beat him twice during our tenure at
Did
MSU.
we? Okay.
Yeah, I think we
Okay.
beat him in '93 and then '95, and then between that and then maybe in '99 when like Saban. Actually, yeah, Saban beat Michigan twice.
99
I
definitely.
think while he was at Michigan State. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But other than that, what other memorable games do you have? Working for the state news back in the day for both. I'll say for both college football and basketball. Or did you
Yeah,
primarily cover the football?
No, I covered both. I covered both, and I think
Okay.
one of the things that was really memorable for me, and one of the things that we really took a lot of pride in, was breaking news and breaking a story. And we broke some major news when I was the sports editor at the State News, and this was back in '94 or '95, involving Judd Heathcote, and basically the athletic director at that time frame. His name was Clarence Underwood. And the basketball
Yep, I
team
remember
was
him.
kind of average or what have you, but the AD wanted Judd Heathcote to go, and so we were able to kind of uncover and break this news story that the AD wanted Judd to resign, and the way we found it was. It's not a big secret anymore, but the reporter that I assigned to the story, his name was Kyle Mellon, and he found a letter that had been shredded in basically the athletic department garbage.
Wow.
And he put it back together, and there was this
State News clandestine operations.
It was like Watergate,
that
bro.
Is crazy.
It was Spartangate, you know what I'm saying? So And so yeah, I remember when he found it, we broke the story and everything, and it was major news. Like none of the professional papers had this, or the professional news
Mm-hmm.
outlets had that. So we were the first ones to do that. So as a student to do that was amazing, you know. And I remember that Judd, when the news broke, he didn't know about it, and he was defiant. He was like, "No, I'm not going to resign this year. You know, I'm going to stay this year." And the AD had this major egg on his face over the whole thing. The one thing that Judd did say was that, you know, I'm going to stay this last year,
Wow.
but you guys are going to appoint my assistant to replace me. And that person was Tom Izzo.
The state news got Tom Izzo the job.
Oh,
You trying to
wow.
tell me?
I know.
Well, I don't know about all that, but you know, that's how the cards fell. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Wow. Man, this is some good stuff here, man. This is crazy. Man, crazy.
It's amazing to think about how, you know, that was like 30 years ago, man. But, you know, I do remember it
I
like it
know.
was yesterday. So that's probably the best little moment that I remember, you know, breaking news. The
Uh-huh.
basketball team during that time frame, you know, they didn't win any championships. Again, this is like right before Izzo came around. Our team, you know, as you mentioned, Fire and Ice, that last year, they were good, but, you know, we got overshadowed in '91 and '92 by those cats
Yeah.
down the road in Ann Arbor. You know, the Fab
Yeah.
Five. That's what it was all
Fab
about. So
Five.
we
Yeah.
took our licking to them a couple times. It wasn't until when they left and you had some remnants of the Five still there that we were able to beat them. You know, I do remember going to Chrysler Arena and watching Sean Ressler drop like 35 points on Michigan and win that game on the road. That was a huge game, a huge win for Michigan State. And we were very close that year
Mm-hmm.
to winning the Big Ten championship, but they lost a home game to Purdue. And I remember that their main player was Quanzo Martin, you know, and so Quanzo Martin and the Boilermakers
I
came
remember that.
into
Yeah, that name sounds
Breslin and
familiar.
just upset the cart, man. And so we ended up losing the Big Ten championship. And this is before they even had like the Big Ten tournament or any of that stuff. You know, it was really straight regular season play, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And in the end, man, I do
Yeah.
think, I don't know if you remember, it might not have been that same year, but it might have been a year after or something like that. They, you know, Michigan State had made it into the tournament. They got bounced very early. It might have been first round, something like that. You know,
Yep.
it wasn't a very memorable performance, you know. But yeah, you know, it's like we weren't able to revel in Spartan basketball until Tom Izzo came and, you know, Mateen and all the Flintstones came. And that was probably more in your time frame, Brian, like 99,
We had the
2000.
great seasons. I was there
You had to,
2004, 2007,
okay.
so I had the
Oh, okay.
Final
Yeah.
Fours and we're the championship. We're, you know, the riots were out there watching from far away, tear gas. It was
Oh my
good
God. Yep.
times.
Spartan Village going up in flames.
Yeah, because when you were there, Brian, that's when they had Kalen Lucas and Darrell Summers,
Yep,
Draymond
that's
Green
in.
at that
Yep.
time.
Draymond Green was there. That's when we
Yeah.
really had it rolling.
Yeah, well, see that. So
Yes.
at that point, I'm working
You
I'm working for the
were.
Big Ten Network. You know, you mentioned I did the Divided We Stand. I do another show for the Big Ten called The Journey, so I could be, which is like a behind the scenes show that deals
Oh,
with both
yep.
football and basketball. We do portraits on the players, on the student athletes, on the coaches, and on the teams and stuff. And so yeah, I remember the beauty of being able to cover Michigan State as a college student. You know, then you become a professional in your business, in your profession. And then, man, I just lucky and honored and privileged to come back, you know, to my alma mater and be able to cover them again. You know, so like I was able to sit down and do interviews and spend some time with those guys, with like a Kalen Lucas and Darrell Summers. Like I remember we went to their apartment in Spartan Village, and they all showing off all their shoes and all that kind of stuff. And I remember going to class with Draymond Green and stuff like that, and filming things with him.
Wow.
So, it was really cool to be able to come back and especially as a former student, and be able to tell those particular stories.
Wow, man. Yeah, I forgot that you did the journey. Yeah, like I say, you're a jack of all
All over the
trades.
place.
Hey, man, I'm trying to pay the mortgage, brother.
hey,
That's all it
hey,
is.
man. Right. So what do you remember some of your famous interviews, toughest sports interviews, a-hole interviews, all the above? Which ones were the most
Well,
memorable
I've been
ones,
able
either good, bad, and different?
Oh man, yeah, I've done a lot of stuff, man. I've had a great and fun career. I worked at ESPN for a while. That was like my first job out of school, and it's really kind of a
Yep, I
stepping
remember that.
stone, not a stepping stone, but something that really laid the foundation really for my career, in terms of just learning how to work in the business, and meeting the right people, and people that I still hold close, and folks that have given me opportunities even today and stuff. And so I've made a lot of great friendships and relationships through that, and that very initial experience. And coming out of school and being able to go to ESPN and cover the NFL and cover the NBA. And I was able to go to NBA All-Star game, went to the NBA All-Star game and covered that in New York City at Madison Square Garden. This was in 98. This is Jordan's last year. And the Jordan versus Kobe fervor was
Yes.
huge,
Oh
so being able to be
yeah,
a part of that and watch that was amazing. I was able to cover a few other things involving the Bulls during that last year for them, that last championship year. Did an interview
The
with
Last
Michael Jordan,
Dance.
so that's probably the biggest thing. A little feather in my cap in regards to who I've been able to interview. You mentioned the Shaq and Dale piece that I did back in, that was a little bit later, 2014, 15-ish or something like that. So working with Shaquille O'Neal was amazing. That was a documentary, so I was able to spend a little bit more time with him. But that was a film that really talked about his collegiate career at LSU, and the relationship that he had with the head coach at that time, Dale Brown. And so being able to spend time with both those guys, but certainly spend time with Shaq, and going back to LSU and walking the campus with him, and just hearing about all these great stories and things that just popped in his mind being back there at the school was fascinating, man. That was amazing, and I had a little bit of a spell working with the NFL and working the National Football League, and being able to go to many Super Bowls. I got to film many Super Bowls, and I think I've been to 9 Super Bowls. I think the last Super Bowl I
Wow.
filmed was the Tom Brady comeback against the Atlanta Falcons, whatever Super Bowl number that was. So
Right.
Some experiences.
I've been fortunate, man, to be out on the field and be able to film that kind of stuff. It's a privilege, it's an honor, it's an amazing experience. Was right on the goal line when Russell Wilson threw that interception, which gave Tom Brady another Super Bowl championship.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are all real fun things. If there have been a lot of crazy, stressful moments or interviews that I didn't like, I probably have blocked them out of my mind and forgotten about them, because I have so many great memories of things that I've been able to do, and I've been able to really treasure and stuff. And certainly done a lot of Michigan State things down the road, and covered a lot of Tom Izzo's games. And we mentioned the group that we just spoke of, the Kalen Lucas and Darrell Summers and Draymond group, and that goes right into the next group, which was oh my God, totally blank. Yeah, Keith Appling and
Adrian Payne,
Oh
Brandon Dawson,
yeah.
that
Brandon
group.
Dawson, that group. Yep,
Yep.
definitely. And then the group after that, you know what I mean? And so if there's anything, I'm a huge Michigan State basketball guy, and really really dive into that big time. And we have a great program, and we really want to continue to keep winning, as long as Coach Izzo is going to be out there coaching.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, so what are you currently working on now, Mr. Shaw? What big project? I mean, I know we're working on something right now. We're working on this big, Detroit fashion documentary. Side note, I've been getting at Kev for years about, hey, we're gonna do a project. We're gonna do a project because outside of Q the Woodshed, I'm a screenwriter. Trying to get to Mr. Shaw's status. But
Oh,
other than
boy.
that, yeah,
Stop
what are you
it.
working on now at your? What are you working on now at your soon-to-be Oscar-winning self?
Yeah, you said that, man,
What
not
you in the
me.
hopper
Okay,
right
so
now, sir?
I'm fortunate to be. I'm fortunate to be working on a few different things, some things I don't feel too comfortable talking about just yet because I don't like putting them out in the ether and then things don't happen. But I have been working on a project for the last 4 or 5 years that deals with
Mm-hmm.
youth sports and looks at particularly Little League baseball and looks at a team from Chicago here. I'm from Chicago
Okay.
that won the Little League World Series. U.S. Championship back in 2014, and really captured the nation by storm. Really took the hearts of the nation, and everybody loved this group of young men because it was kind of unexpected, and they all came
Mm-hmm.
from like the south side of Chicago. All kind of came crashing down with some controversy over residency and boundaries, and Little League ended up taking the title away from them, saying that they broke the rules, the boundary rules, and the amount of trauma and basically hate that they received, that these young men received afterward, really could have just broken a young person. You're 12, 13, you're on the highest of highs, and then to have it all
Right.
crashing down immediately just as fast as you had received all that acclaim can be really tough. So, this documentary tells the story of those young men, of how they reached that high, what happened when, the bottom fell out underneath them, and how they picked themselves back up, to become the young men
Mm-hmm.
that they are today. So that's a project called One Golden Summer that's coming out hopefully soon, within the next year or so. We're almost finishing with the edit on that.
Okay.
And it's an independent documentary, and so a lot of the stuff that I do documentary wise are independent things. You had mentioned my other film, Let the Little Light Shine, that was with PBS a year ago. That was an independent project that didn't deal with sports, that dealt with education and social justice and protest and things of that nature. And so that was something that was out of the wheelhouse, but was great to do. Like I really like to do other things outside of just sports. So Let the Little
Mm-hmm.
Light Shine was that project for me. Even before that, did another project that looked at education called America to Me, which was on Stars, and spent a year in this high school. It's outside of Chicago, Illinois, in Oak Park River Forest High School. Followed like 10 or 12 different kids that went to that school and their families. And you really got a portrait of what that community was like and dealing with and everything, because they had an achievement gap that was startling for a school in a district that was very well funded and had a lot of diversity and had a lot of well funded opportunities, but it wasn't really funneling down to everybody. So that's what that project kind of looked at. So I've been able to do other things outside of sports, which has really been enriching, to be able to go out there and tell different stories that are important, that are just not based off of competition and athletics and all. And so as long as I can continue to do that, like just like the music documentary that we're trying to do about Detroit and stuff, which would be awesome. I'm a happy camper, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to continue to try to keep it moving in that fashion.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll watch stuff that comes out. So Kendall always keeps me abreast. My friend Kevin Shaw got this coming out, so I always make sure I check it out.
Well, Let the Little Light Shine is out on VOD, so it's on your VOD platform of choice: Apple, Amazon, Google, whatever that might be. And same with America to Me, that's out on all the platforms as well. And so, yeah, man, it's been good. I've been really blessed with everything, and just really trying to continue to do great work and tell some great stories.
Yeah, man, and not that that's because you're my homie, but on the real, Kevin, you do some great work. I mean, you do, man. I mean, I tell
I
my
appreciate it.
peoples all the time, man. My homie Kevin Shaw, boy, he brings that fire. He brings it with all of his work. So, yes, sir, yes, sir. So let's
I
bring it
try
back to
to, man.
sports just a little
Hopefully
bit,
Michigan
Kev,
State
before
will
we
bring
get
some
you out of
fire on the
here.
football field this year.
Right, right, right.
Yes.
So yeah, I
Yeah,
wanted to
speaking
get your
about football,
thoughts
I know they just
on
had the spring game.
the
So when do you have any
football team at
thoughts on the
present and,
team?
and the basketball team. Yeah. What's your thoughts, sir? The new regime, Jonathan Smith.
I
I went up
didn't
to
watch
the
it.
spring
Yeah,
game
yeah,
this
yeah. I
past
didn't.
weekend. Do have to say that, yeah. I have to say that
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Aiden Childs, yeah, that he can really throw that ball. I mean, I was very impressed by him, even though it's just practice, but the way that I mean, just what I saw on the field from him, that throwing the ball around, he looked comfortable in the pocket. And even the backup quarterbacks, I mean, all three quarterbacks that played, I mean, it's like night and day compared to what we had last year. But that's my observation. But what are your thoughts, sir? What are your thoughts?
That's good to hear. I didn't watch the spring game, so I'm a little down on not knowing what the roster is going to look like, who's going to do this or that. I hope that Aiden has some people he can throw to. That'd probably be the most important thing. We got some receivers that can catch the ball and do some things. We got a running back that can kind of take a little bit of heat off him every now and then. I think that would be really important. But just like you guys, we want to see the offense score some points in college football. That's what it's about now. You got to score points, and so and make a stop. You know what I mean? I think the one thing that was really
Oh yeah.
frustrating about watching the football team over the last 2 years was just couldn't make a stop. It was just getting thrown deep on all the time. Just had no coverage, and so I hope those kind of things are fixed under this new regime of Coach Jonathan Smith and his whole new staff. Really looking forward to diving in and seeing that and making things competitive because it's harder now, man. It's going to be harder for Michigan State
Mm-hmm.
to sit up there and reach the pinnacle of competing in the CFP. Now there might be a few more spots, but in our group, in our conference, we got a few more teams now that are joining us. We've
Yes.
got these West Coast
Yeah.
teams that are
Yes.
going to bring the fire. And three of them in particular. Well, we'll see about USC, but certainly with Oregon and Washington, that's just a whole new level that we have to deal with. And so I think before, in years past, to have an incredible season, we had to beat Michigan, had to beat Ohio State, right? And then you had to beat Penn State. You beat those three teams, you're playing in the championship. You're probably going to, the 4-team CFP. Well, those days are over now.
Yes,
I don't know
indeed.
what it's going to take to make it to that, even with an additional slot. But you're still going to have an exceptional year, of a one or maybe two loss year. And are we at these levels yet that our competitors are at? Probably not yet. And the way we were talking about this a little bit offline with the transfer portal and other schools having a little bit more of a war chest to work with in terms of money. Are we going to compete on that level? Are we going to try to do that and bring kids in with NIL money, or are we going to try to continue to find the diamonds in the rough and try to develop them like you used to do? Certainly like what Mark D'Antonio did back in the day and everything. So, I'm really excited for football. I love college football, and I certainly want to see Michigan State do well. And I think we reached bottom over the last 2 years. Can't go any worse. Can't go any worse.
Right? Cannot get any worse.
So let's just look up. Let's look up.
Going through the cycle now. We're starting to hope cycle up, and then by the time we get to August, we're like, yeah, our team's going to be this, and then pain, and that's just college football is pain. But you love your school and you go through it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
So it's all fun, but it'll be exciting to see us play some of these West Coast teams. I think we might have Oregon on the schedule this year. Now, we've played Oregon before when they were part of the Pac-12 a couple years ago and things of that nature. We had a little home and home, so that won't be as special. But to see them come in the frame, to see us eventually play USC and Washington, those are going to be really, really fun games. And obviously, we got the team down the road. We got to try to beat and take care of them. And we know what happens if we are able to beat Michigan in a year. That just really sets the tone. It sets the tone right there. So keep hope alive.
Well, I can say that Kev, you had the big time connections. You can call Matt Ishbia, Tom Gores, and Dan Gilbert and say, hey, cut them NIL checks. Cut them NIL checks, buddies. We need about $10 million per check.
It'll happen if they put out a decent enough team out there and they have potential and promise. Some dudes like that will start to fund the NIL war chest. They will, because they'll be like, okay, well, we're close. So, but they got to put out a competitive product first. Like we got to have guys out there that are competitive and want to try to. If you lose a game, that's fine. You lose by a couple points, 1 point, whatever it is, okay. But you can't be getting out there just looking like you don't even want to compete, getting blown out, and that's what happened the last 2 years. Off. Exactly. So we don't want to see that. You're not going to get people to fund that type of operation,
Yeah, taking losses to Indiana.
To your point, I remember
Illinois.
What was it? The year that 2021, when they had that 11-win season, that's when they started opening the checkbook out. Cause that's when Tucker got paid and everything looked like it was heading in the right direction. And then things happened.
Yeah,
people did things to themselves.
Yeah, I mean the football program, like we said, all we can do is look up. Like we need to bring Paul Bunyan home, right? For one, so we know what that means, right? Got to win and beat Michigan, and then go on from there. But that should really be the focus, and so you got to think about does the new regime know that? I think they do, but then are they spreading that and creating that culture in the building? In the Tom Izzo football building, right? That shows you how lacking our football tradition is if you're going to name the football building after Tom Izzo, right? It doesn't really make that much sense, but that's what they did. So we need to change that. Hey, you want to name it the Jonathan Smith football building if he has that type of thing going down in the next couple of years, but the door is open. He could leave a legacy. He's got a blank canvas to work with and really build something here. So that's the exciting part. Hopefully he can build something. It's just going to be tougher than what it used to be because we have those West Coast teams now joining the conference.
Agreed. Definitely agree.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So when you get a chance to interview Jonathan Smith, Mr. Shaw, just drop a little nugget in his ear, say, hey, You know, I did this show called Cue the Woodshed. I think you should really get on there, Coach Smith. Once you get a chance to, talk to him and know him and stuff. Once you do the journey on him,
okay.
Once you do that journey episode
Okay.
on him coming from Oregon State, and you butter him up, that's when you hit him like, bam.
All right. Got it. I'll be excited to talk to Aiden Childs, man. I want to talk to him and learn his whole story. That'll be cool.
Oh yeah. When I saw him at the spring game, first of all, I'm like, wow, this kid is tall, and he's got, so yeah. And that's been a long time since we've had a black quarterback too. I think maybe since Tony Banks.
Damon Dowdell.
Like,
you might be right.
No, there was another kid.
Who?
He wasn't a starter.
Damian
Terry.
Oh yeah, he never started though. Yeah.
No, he didn't start, but if it go back started, Damon Dowdell, and yeah.
Oh boy, yeah, that's a long time, bro. That's a long time.
Yes.
I mean, because we had Jim Miller and Cousins, and Connor Cook. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, it has been long. So yeah, he might add something that we haven't seen in a long time, which could make watching them even more exciting.
I've been looking forward to it. I just want to see like you said earlier, a new offense. Right. Just allergic to scoring touchdowns sometimes. It just makes the game so hard to watch. And I feel like the offense is the easier part in college football than the defense. I mean, in football in general right now, the rules are slanted your direction. The plays. Just I know we have a more offensive-minded head coach, so hopefully we do see some, at least if we're going to lose, can we light it up a little bit, make it exciting?
Yeah, at least lose like 55-51 or something like that, right? But that'll be going back to those John L. Smith days. So I don't know if we want to go technically all the way back there. Because the John L. Smith days, we had a pretty good, crazy offense, but we couldn't stop nobody either during those times.
Couldn't stop anybody.
Yeah.
That was my time on campus.
Wow, that's crazy.
There's a happy medium. We'll find it.
Yes. Yeah, that's as long as we can go at least 7-5. I think that's a good first successful year. 7-5 in a decent bowl game. 5-7, 4-8.
That's a good way to start it.
This kid is 7-5 football. The first.
I'll take 7-5.
These 3-4 games. I mean, those are guaranteed victories for the most part. So that's like halfway, to getting at least 6. So I'll be happy with that. But I do think that there is, based off the spring game, I do feel that there's some, some good vibes there, some good hope. So
good.
We'll see what happens.
Good.
So. Other than that, anything else for the cause, Mr. Shaw, you want to share with our audience? How can people, check out all of your great content? We'll definitely plug all of your stuff here, for our viewers and audience. A website you want to reference or what you got for us?
Yeah. You can watch any of my content on my website, www.kevinshaw.com. I'm on Instagram at kevinshaw23, and Let the Little Light Shine is on the Apple and Amazon, Google, Vudu, VOD. The Journey is on the Big Ten Network. Divided We Stand is on the Big Ten Network and Fox, and check out any of those shows for Big Ten content as that season approaches. And that's about it, man. I appreciate having this conversation with you all today.
Thanks for coming on with us.
Our pleasure, sir.
Anytime,
Yes,
brothers.
yes, pleasure. So one last thing. My son, who does the music for the show, Mr. Ethan 8-Bit Williams, he wants to make an appearance to say a little something here. Come on, son. He's been coming in
Seen him in
ever
the background
since
a couple
we were
times.
interviewing. So this your chance. Yep, this your chance. Come on. Say hi to Mr. Shaw there.
What's going on, man? How
Kev,
are
if you ever need any music, say hi.
Is he the guy?
If you ever need any music, if you ever need any music for your stuff there, Kevin, Mr. 8-Bit here, he makes some spectacular beats. So if you ever need any music.
Nice. All right. I want to check him out. Man.
Yes, sir.
Got to send him my way, all right? Yes, sir.
I will, most definitely. So, all right. Well, once again, cue the woodshed. I'm Ken, the super cool Spartan. My brother, mad Spartan, but he's mad chill right now. And pleasure to have him. So, go green and go white.